Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Thursday morning. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Thursday morning, guys. Happy Thursday morning, chosen ones. So I want to speak to you guys in this recording about the promise was paused. The promise was paused. Now, of course, this is not for everyone. No recording is for everyone. But if this is for you, tap in. So, of course, there are people who are currently in destiny season. The promise has fully manifested for you. A lot of you guys are realizing that it manifested, but it wasn't exactly what you thought. The insight may have been a little slightly off. However, it's still great. And then there are some people who are in the trenches. Like you're just starting on this journey, right? And so you're fighting like a wild cat. You just don't know what God is doing. Honey, it's straight chaos, right? But you're still on the journey. But then there's a great number of people where it feels as if the promise was paused. You had great movement. You had great fruit, right? You had great insight. You even saw some things physically manifested through God. You're in alignment to receive it. So you saw some things happening, right? And then you hit a pause. Now, of course, just within the process itself, there's a lot of different seasons. So you're going to have a season where you see everything being aligned, even some physical things, right? And then maybe you hit a season of stillness for a little bit. So the point is, there's different seasons that you're going to encounter on this process. But right now, I'm speaking about the pause in a sense of if we're talking beginning, middle, end. If we're going to speak about it like that, right? You're in the middle, but it's paused. It feels stuck. And you know that you know that you know, because again, everything confirmed it, right? In the last few seasons, something happened in the spiritual realm. Something happened in the spiritual realm. Of course, it then overflow and manifest in the physical realm, right? Through people or whoever the enemy tries to use to interrupt certain things. But it started in the physical realm. I'm sorry, it started in the spiritual realm. So you hit a halt. So the enemy attacked it. And of course, he uses people. So a lot of things came up against the promise. People, places, things, etc. But it all felt like it backfired, right? It felt like it backfired. Like, wait a minute, what's going on? Like everything was going so smoothly, and I know I was in alignment. I was doing everything God told me to do. Then what happened? Because it seemed as if everything that God said to do, it backfired on me. Something happened in the spiritual realm. And of course, ultimately, it is to make sure that you never arrive to due season. So all of a sudden, you started to get attacked through people who may have been in the promised land. Here's the thing. There are people in your promised land who do not want to leave. There are people in your promised land who do not want to leave, obviously, right? Now, this is for a magnitude of reasons. This can look like, give me some examples. They know once you get there, things are going to change. So that land, it's going to be a whole upside down shift. And a lot of the people that's in that land, now these can be people who branches off. It's still within the promise itself, but it branches off. This can look like relationships or family members or other business partners, just people, right? People who's in the promised land. Ooh, thank you, Holy Spirit. So when you were in the process, like more towards the beginning, right? What came with that? If we're honest, it was a lot of anxiety, a lot of hastiness, a lot of getting ahead of God, right? Just our own flesh, right? Or if you're like me, a visionary, you see it. So you figure if you see it, then it's supposed to be mine today. No, visionaries, right? He showed it to you to give you something to work towards. It may not even be the time for it. Most times it's not. But let it be hastiness, anxiety, getting ahead of God. At the end of the day, it's all flesh. So when God introduced you, right, when he gave you a glimpse, and you may have even physically come into contact with people, places, or things, right, in destiny. I realize too, sometimes what God will do is he'll, even if it's not the time, he'll open the door, right, and give you a glimpse of it. He may even put you in the room. He may even put you in the lane, in the building, and then he snatches you back out. And now your feelings are hurt because you're just like, this doesn't make any sense. Why would you? So a lot of the times what he'll do is he'll give you a glimpse, a peek into the season to let you know what you're going to be up against. So when you encountered these people, places, and or things, everything was smooth. There was nothing up against you. You were just you. Because you were too much still in your flesh with that anxiety and hastiness and just like, well, God said that, God said that, right? Just all over the place. How can I say what I feel? So, okay, if we're not, oh my goodness, how can I put this into words? Sometimes it's so hard to put what I feel in my spirit into words. So a lot of the times when you're full of anxiety and hastiness, that overshadows the spiritual. So what happens is people pick up on your energy of your flesh, meaning it's just flesh. You're just like them. There's nothing, special about you, because what's happening is that your flesh, because of the anxiety, the hastiness, the not even reassure of yourself and really trying to fit in with the narrative of what you think, we think, the promises and what it should look like, and et cetera, it's almost as if you were trying to fit in to them, meaning the room, the place, you were trying to be accepted. So, for example, in the physical realm, this can look like God has promised you that you're going to be one of the biggest businessmen in the world, right? That's the glimpse, that's the vision he gave you at some point in your life. Now remember, we don't know the intricate details of how it's going to happen. We just know that we know what God said and that there's the promise, etc. But we don't know like all the intricate details of how we're going to get there, who he's going to use, right? Those things are just things that we just get surprised along the way. We're going to get there, but most of it's not going to be how we think. So you heard about a conference last summer, right? This is a conference with people all around the world, different businessmen. You get on the plane, you fly there to the conference or whatever the case may be. Boom, you pick up on something spiritually. There's a lot of different people there, but then there's somebody you meet and your spirit feels very, very connected and ignited that this is the particular business field that you want to go into, right? So you meet certain people, everything seems very promising, your spirit is all like reassured, etc. You're just happy to be there. You're all excited, right? You're just trying to fit in with them because you feel like, well, they've already been in business for 20 plus years. I'm the newbie. So you get there and you're with them, I don't know, maybe smoking cigars and just like, you're just you're just flesh. Nothing wrong with that. It is what it is, right? But you're just flesh. So nobody's intimidated by you. They just see you as they see themselves. But there's no intimidation factor because your flesh has override the spirit. Now God sent you back. He gave you a glimpse into the room. And you really feel like this man is going to call me next week. We're going to start this business on Tuesday. And God sends you right on back to where you came from. The man didn't call. In fact, he's probably rejecting your calls and you're trying to figure out what. All right. So God sent you back. So you went back to just wherever, season of stillness, whatever. So when God sent you back, he needed to continue to work on you, right? But now as he was working on you, what he's teaching, what he taught you when he sent you back over time was to kill that flesh. So what did he do? You went through some attacks, you went through some storms, you went through some trials, and throughout the process of being back in your place of stillness, it then developed your power, the spiritual side of you. So all those attacks, all the heartbreaks, all the storms, everything that you went through in the last several years or whatever the case may be, it developed you spiritually. So now, and these are all just examples, plug your scenario in, get in where you fit in. So now God gave it another opportunity. Maybe there's another meeting somewhere, but you're going to meet these same people. You're going to run into them again. This time, when you walk in that room, these are the same people who was there last time now, right? Everybody's still sitting down smoking their cigars and their lounge chairs, honey. Now, you're moving in spirit. Your spirit has been amplified. Your spirit has been solidified through everything you've been through and everything that God strengthened you throughout the process. Now, when you walk in that room, they're not feeling your flesh like before. You no longer feel like them. So now when you go in there, you're confident. Right? You're not all trying to like fit in or just accept me and give me one of your cigars, even though I don't smoke, that type of thing. Right? Oh, no. Because God didn't even when God sent you back and he was increasing your power, he even gave you more insight about what it really is. So now at this point, you know, they don't know yet, but you know that you are to transform the room, the business, right? The family, the this, the that, whatever your scenario is. You are to transform it, not fit into it. So now at this point, you see why the process can be so long because there's just so much intricate details we have to learn. So now when God sends you back this time, honey, when you walk in that room, your spirit has shook the place. They feel it. They know it. They know God sent you. Now, the one businessman himself, like whoever the powerful man may be, okay, he may or may not even realize. Like, he knows. Okay, meaning the head honcho, whoever the main character, they know. But guess who else knows? Every other person in that land. Mind you, they're in the land. So they've been there probably long time, right? They probably got some witchcraft and voodoo going on just to stay up in that land. They know, right? They can't let you in because the things that they're used to doing can no longer be done, right? God sent you. So no. We're gonna do this a different way, right? See, when I came the first time, I didn't know who I was. God just gave me a glimpse. I thought God was telling me the time is now. No. He just put me in the room to get a glimpse of you. And you, and you, and you, and you. I thought we could be cool because I didn't know any better. But now I realize you're really my enemy. So now when you see me the second, third time, or you know that you know that you know, because now you feel this power where before you just saw the flesh. Why do you think they turn on you all of a sudden? Weren't they cool with you all along? Now all of a sudden, the whole territory, everybody's against you, and your little sensitive chosen one self is like, well, what did I do? And I mean, I just thought everything was so like, did they not like my macaroni salad? Like, what I do? Honey, it's all spiritual. And the crazy part about it is the enemy will have you so tricked, right? Got you trying to fight things in this physical room. So you're trying to fight the physical with the physical. Oh my God, what do I do? Maybe I can correct maybe I won't add so much mayonnaise next time. Honey, it has nothing to do with the physical. This is all going on spiritually, right? So now the enemy, of course, is giving people demonic downloads. Half of the time, they don't even know no better. They're believing in the demonic downloads, right? So now they're fighting against you. They got all this energy coming against you. And what happens, right? So now on that that last encounter or the next encounter where you now went in that room and they now felt your spiritual presence and they now know it is what it is. Now they may not know all the details, right? God has shown you a lot. They just know it's something about you. You're different and we got to keep you out because you mean business. Okay. Now something happened after that. They concocted some kind of plan to keep you out. And you know what's crazy? I can feel this from different perspectives from people who are listening. Like for some people, it may be a kingdom spouse or a kingdom partner where the family is against you, right? Because you and your little godly self, right? And they're just full of demons and narcissistic, right? So they're the whole family used to like you, honey. They would invite you, and now everybody turned against you. This can look like the scenario that I'm describing, meaning business, relationships, even missionary work, right? You're you're doing what God told you to do, right? You're missionary work. And these folks who claim they love God is ganging up on you. Like they're evil. How are you evil and doing missionary work? But I can go on and on. I feel how it can branch off in so many different scenarios. Okay, so when that last encounter happened, it was gut-wrenching. Because you couldn't understand why. Like, what did I do? Right? So it was gut-wrenching. So much so that it sent you back to another season full of counterfeits. Because if we're honest, some of you guys at that point, you gave up completely on the promise. You gave up completely on the promise because of that last encounter where it feels like it was just too much power and like you didn't feel like you could really handle it, or you just like, even if it manifested, certain things manifested in the physical realm, maybe they had too much money and you couldn't really challenge them, or maybe there was a one narc in the family and they turned, because you know how narcs go, they turn everybody against you. So they turn everybody against you. So it's like you felt like you're overpowered. Okay, so at this point, Either you ended the promise yourself, just feeling like, you know what, this is just too much. At this point, I don't even want it because it's too, I just can't. My feelings are hurt. Or God sent you back to a season of stillness, which many of us are right now, right? Many of us are right now in a season of stillness. It's because of what God needs to do and get to you. Because when he opens that next encounter, it's going to be the final. So some of you guys who walked away from your promise, you're about to miss it. And you're doing exactly what the enemy always wanted. He wanted you to get wear out so bad that you start to come into an agreement that no, the promise was never really, it was a familiar spirit, right? It was my flesh, right? That's why he sent all those fine child. Why do you think you met so many counterfeits in the last year? People, places, are things, but I think I'm kind of leaning more towards people right now. Of course, maybe some people started to start new projects that were counterfeits, meaning God told you to go home and sit still, right? Relax your nerves, and here you are starting it. A candle line. So that's counterfeit, because remember, counterfeits are designed to distract you from what God really needs. Tell me why I feel like one of y'all really started the candle line. Oh my goodness, right? And listen, that's fine. Please start 50 candle lines. That's what you want to do. The point is, it ain't the time for that. It ain't the season for that. That's a distraction. You just feel bored and you feel like, because you don't see what God is doing, I just need to be doing something. God needs you to be still. So the enemy sent all those distractions, honey, and all of them been fine. Keep it real. All been fine. and you, you're so beat down and tired, right? From the long drawn out process, the ups and downs of the promise, right? Getting your feelings hurt one too many times. Now you're trying to sit here and create the counterfeit to be exactly what God showed you. And you know, fine or not fine, thick or not thick, bro, you know that is not the chick that God told you. So now, because the promise is becoming too much, you want to take the counterfeit and try to recreate her. God told you he had a God-ordained woman for you, because you're now moving in purpose and calling, and you just can't worry about flesh like that no more. It has to be a chick who can get behind you. You know, she have a certain type of power. She can add to your life. God made that clear. So you were searching for her one way when you were on the right path, right? You were going to y'all, I'm trying my best to be serious, but y'all don't understand. These visions be popping up in my head. I can see a guy like on the plane, honey. He's going to some type of missionary meeting, not missionary meeting, like some type of conference, like a godly conference, because God told him, honey, his wife is going to be there, right? He's looking for a godly wife. His feelings got hurt. Maybe he got rejected. The enemy done set something up, lying to him, telling him that the woman don't even like him because his shoes dirty. He get back on the plane, honey. He's in his feelings. Now God done sent him a counterfeit. She's bad, but the chick got bird brain. She don't even know the Lord, honey. Now he's trying to sit here and make this woman. He's frustrated because everything he's trying to instill in her, she ain't even getting it, right? She has no intellect. He knows it, but she's fine. And he's tired of the process. So now he's frustrated because he's trying to make this woman be the godly woman that God showed him or promised him. Even if God never physically shown it to him, he knows the feeling and the conviction of what it should be. He knows that ain't that woman, but he's tired. So the enemy done lied and told him, you heard God wrong. You waste your money on the plane ticket. Now, what did the enemy do? God just told you to go back home and relax your nerve, right? And there's a good chance after that, right? Your little feelings are hurt, right? Listen, we're children, men and women. I'm sorry, we're very sensitive. Our feelings are hurt. Because now the enemy knows that we're already down, right? What is he going to do? Kick you when you're down. So boom, some kind of spiritual attack while you're already low. So now that spiritual attack kind of puts you face down. I almost said something. Face down. Whoo, child. So because of all that heaviness, stress, not even feeling confident any longer, questioning yourself, questioning God at this point, not questioning God per se, but questioning the promise per se. The counterfeit just made sense. Because what do counterfeits do? Counterfeits are fun. Counterfeits actually look very close to, I mean, you know that it's not the real thing, but it can be close. But you know that that's not what God said. So in having fun with the counterfeit, because remember, having fun masks what? Pain. So all the majors, a lot of chosen people hit some, listen, a lot of chosen people hit, I'm talking about gut wrenching, right? Knees buckling type of attacks in the last couple of years. Even some recently. So counterfeits distract you from pain, from hurt, from betrayal, from grief. So the enemy makes it really fun. He's the ones that makes it really fun. Honey, y'all got chemistry. And you're now trying to say the chemistry is spiritual. There's a big difference between chemistry connections and spiritual connections. You already had, well, maybe not everybody, but you already had a taste of what the spiritual connection is when God opened that door. So now, entertaining the counterfeits, person, place, or thing, what happened? Some kind of soul tie, some kind of something. At the end of it, it ended up, even though it was fun, now what happens? It ended up stressing you out, right? You're fussing all the time, you're arguing, they're cheating, they're lying, child, it's a whole disaster, right? So now the enemy, when God sent you back from the last encounter, again, with your feelings hurt, God wanted you to be still. The enemy sent a spiritual attack to drop you. He sent a counterfeit to distract you. Now that the counterfeit relationship is in chaos, further distractions. Because now your mind is all balled up on who's we're not even supposed to be dealing with them, period, right? So how are we sitting here going through all this foolishness, right? Completely distracted at this point. So why do you think God hit us so hard during the ending of 24, and then some of you with hard heads, you carry it over in 25, even though God told you clear as day to leave it in 24, right? Some of you guys drag that foolishness right on in 25. Because during this time, what God was trying to do is, because a lot of people, blessings are going to manifest, promises are going to manifest this year. Now, I'm not that person, right? I'm more of a seasoned person, if you will, right? I don't really say like the months or this, that, and third. But spiritually, I can feel there's a lot of chosen people, promises is going to fully, all caps, fully manifest this season. And here's why. So it's going to be the ones who were obedient to end those counterfeits, relationships or situationships or whatever you had going on. The conviction to end them was so heavy. Matter of fact, God allowed them to betray you. God allowed them to cheat. Why was things so great with counterfeits? And then all of a sudden, boom. He had to hit you because you wouldn't listen when he said remove them. And maybe for, I don't say good reasons, but remember, you were still broken from the attack. You hadn't really had a chance to heal yet. So it was from distraction to distraction. So God knows that, right? So what happens? Many times when God needs to really, really, really get our attention and he feels like we need some help, he'll snatch that rug. And snatching that rug looks like that person's gonna hurt you. And now you're all in your feelings. Oh my God, honey, it was always a counterfeit. So how do we think a counterfeit would have worked out? We'd be delusion. Once that delusion wear off, honey, you'd be like, how did I even, like, you're not even my type. You're broke, you're this, right? You're this, that, and the third. You start coming up with all these answers. Like, I wouldn't even deal with nobody like you. Honey, it was delusion. Accepted. Accountability. It was delusion. The enemy sent a spirit of delusion to you. Sir, you know she was a witch. You kept ignoring your convictions, sir. All right, so those of you who are still dragging your feet and still refusing to remove the counterfeits, let's be real, it's not easy, obviously, so no judgment there, right? I'm just the kind of chick, me, Kizzy. I don't care what it is. I don't care who it is. I don't care where it is. Once God give me a conviction to say the time is up, get right, you're going to miss the next season. Oh, honey, you got to go. You and your mama got to go. Like, seriously, because I know how this spiritual thing works. We can, listen, obedience is crucial. Obedience over emotions is crucial. Understanding why the enemy sends distractions and knowing your track record with God and knowing that feeling when he's about to shift you, open the door, or elevate you, it makes it so much easier to remove the things he actually removed. Okay, so those of you who are still dragging your feet and the counterfeit is still, you're still struggling or whatever, prayerfully God give you more grace, but please, whatever you do, please, please, please do not take advantage of grace and ask God for strength to put it down, right? Remove them, whatever. Just ask God for strength, but that's going to be between you and God, honey. But listen, God is not going to bless a mess, right? So you ain't dragging that foolishness up in due season. So, to those of you who were obedient and you put the counterfeits down, or even to those of you who never even pick the counterfeit up, you guys are still in the same place. Back in alignment, back in stillness. Now here's what's going to come next. I mean, I don't know, guys. Just get in where you fit in. I'm just speaking what I feel in my spirit. Please don't hold me accountable. Just, right? God will confirm it. Holy Spirit will confirm it for you. You are to do absolutely nothing. Well, you are, but our instruction is to be still. No distractions. Even when you feel those distractions coming, because the enemy is going to keep sending it to you, right? So you got to keep rejecting these, or limit them. Boundaries is the word. Boundaries, right? But what God is doing currently in some of those territories, there is a tornado going on that you don't know about, meaning he's cleaning house. So the things that you thought you could have physically done yourself to wipe people out the way and do this and do that and do that, none of that stuff would work anyway, because that was all your flesh, and it was not even God's timing. But now it's God's timing. So this is why do you think things are so quiet? God is working on the other side, right? So for those of you that I can't hear from God, honey, God is busy. Well, that's not true, because God is what do you call it, where he's all over the place, right? But he's just trying to tell you, be still, right? Just the only thing I need you to do, avoid all distractions. Don't let people pull at you too much. Just be still. Why? Because I'm going to come back and I got to give you certain details. So I need you spiritually aware about certain things. So all those giants, all those territories, Certain things are being exposed in different ways. For example, as I gave the business example earlier, maybe one of those partners was stealing money, and now all of a sudden, now that they're doing audits, all that stuff is coming out, right? So now that's one person already gone, right? Maybe one of them took sick, not wishing that on them, but maybe one took sick, right? That person is gone, right? But at the end of the day, all these people had wrong spirits, wrong motives, so they were controlling certain things in that land. But now that God is moving them out the way and moving them out the way and moving them out the way, right? So he's fighting for you. Your only job is to remain in faith. Most importantly, come back into alignment with the agreement, because many of us kind of like wrote it off. Like, you know what? I ain't got time for this foolishness, right? Certain things you may have even spoke on it. This is why some of you are starting to see certain signs again, signs and wonders where you hadn't seen them for quite some time. He's trying to alert you, right? He's only showing you the signs and the, see, he ain't gonna let you back in the room now, right? Because when you go back in the room, you're going to stay there now. So he just needs you to understand that he is cleaning up the room for you, honey, because that room was dirty. He is cleaning up the room for you, right? He's doing the work. Just be still and stay in faith and come back in agreement if you kind of, He's shaking a lot of things up, right? Even potentially, if your promise was a kingdom wife or a kingdom, whatever demons they had, maybe you were trying to, chosen ones, healing energy, thinking we can fix everybody, right? Maybe you were trying your best to make this woman be faithful, right? But the crack addiction had her just, she couldn't be faithful, right? Because it was so you knew like, well, if I can get this crack addiction under control, I know I can make her faithful, because she's only cheating because she's on the crack. So here you are trying to hide the crack, right? Tie her up in the room where she don't go get the crack, all that stuff, right? That's all flesh. So maybe now that they're separated, God had to put on her face. Maybe she had one last scare. In that one scare, she had a one-on-one encounter with God. And she knows that she knows that she knows she can never. So that encounter honestly changed her, and it's changed her for good. Okay, now God can open that door, because now she's ready to receive you. Now those demons, etc., let it be people who were enablers, all this stuff, the people in the territories all have been moved, or many of them have been placed on their face, where they themselves now can see and hear God completely. So now they're getting all the new revelations about you. Remember the person that you saw at the conference, and he came and spoke to you, and you felt something in his spirit, but nothing ever manifested, because I sent his behind back home on the plane. But you remember that person? Now she's awakened. Now he's awakened. He's all spiritual connected. Now they can truly see you. So it's time, guys, right? But sadly, a lot of people are not going to make it, because again, right, listen, you're chosen, so you know how difficult this journey is. But have our life ever been easy? No, we've always had difficult lives, right? So why give up now? But a lot of people won't make it because that those counterfeit situations are just too strong and too powerful, and they just refuse to get back in alignment. All we can really do is pray for our brothers and sisters, their strength. But to those of you who are still in this still place, please, 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 right? Every good thing is not a God thing. So you may have certain things that's coming to you because you're bored, or because you're quiet, or whatever the case may be. You're trying to get involved in it just to burn time. Just ask God for clarity and wisdom on anything that comes to you, right? Because he may give you something to do, but it's not going to be something that's going to distract you heavily, stress you out, push past boundaries, things like that, right? Get in where you fit in. But keep standing, guys. Get back in alignment. The shift is here. any day now. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.